Comics have always been more than just entertainment. They are a mirror to society, a space where creators, intentionally or not, embed the struggles, triumphs, and identities of their time. But what happens when the voices of an entire group of people, LGBTQ+ individuals, racial minorities, and other marginalized communities, are erased from this mirror? What does it mean for representation when it's met with resistance, both historically and even now, in an era of supposed progress? Welcome to African Reads Comics. Today, we are diving into one of the most contentious, fascinating, and vital discussions in the comic book world, the journey of LGBTQ+ and minority representation. We'll uncover how far we've come, the forces that shaped this journey, and why pushback persists even today. Buckle up, it's a deep one. Hey guys, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this video, please support me by clicking the like button and subscribing to my channel. It really helps a lot in growing this small channel, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to the video. When comics first emerged during the 1930s, America was in the grip of the Great Depression. Comics, especially superhero stories, offered escapism, hope, and a sense of stability in turbulent times. But this stability came with a cost. It reflected the dominant, Eurocentric, and heteronormative culture of the time. Our heroes are Superman, Captain America, Batman, were created by Jewish immigrants like Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, and Jack Kirby. And while these creators themselves experienced marginalization, their characters embodied white, cisgender, heterosexual ideals. They were not only saviors of the day but also ideological constructs that upheld the status quo. As comics became tools of wartime propaganda, minority representation was relegated to the background, or worse, weaponized. Japanese characters, for instance, were grotesque caricatures, while black and indigenous characters were either invisible or shown in deeply racist ways. Then came the 1954 Comics Code Authority. Designed to protect American values, it banned depictions of LGBTQ+ relationships, racial tension, and any subversive ideas. This wasn't just censorship, it was systemic erasure. LGBTQ+ and minority creators and characters were stifled, and the industry leaned into its predominantly white, straight male audience even harder. Even under censorship, creators found ways to subvert the rules. Subtext became the name of the game. Take Batman and Robin in the 1940s and 50s, while their relationship wasn't explicitly queer, some interpreted their partnership and Bruce Wayne's double life as a metaphor for closeted gay men. But perhaps the most famous allegory for marginalization came in 1963 with the creation of the X-Men. These mutants weren't just fictional outcasts, they were a stand-in for anyone who felt othered by society, whether due to race, gender, or sexuality. Magneto and Professor X became analogues for Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., showing the complexity of fighting for justice in different ways. The civil rights movement of the 1960s forced publishers to reckon with their lack of diversity. Enter Black Panther in 1966, Marvel's first black superhero. With Wakanda, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created an Afrocentric utopia, one that avoided stereotypes but also sidestepped America's racial struggles. Luke Cage followed in 1972, marking Marvel's first black protagonist with a solo title. But Cage wasn't perfect. His early stories leaned into blaxploitation stereotypes, highlighting the tension between authentic representation and marketability. Meanwhile, the LGBTQ+ rights movement gave rise to subtle queerness in comics. Mystique and Destiny in X-Men were written as lovers, though their relationship remained ambiguous due to editorial restrictions. Outside the mainstream, indie creators like Howard Cruz openly explored queer themes in gay comics. The 1980s and 90s brought breakthroughs. Milestone Comics, founded in 1993, became a game changer for black representation. Characters like Static, Icon, and hardware weren't just superheroes, they were authentic reflections of Black life, tackling systemic racism and inequality head-on. Marvel's North Star finally came out as gay in 1992, making headlines as the first openly gay character in mainstream comics. But his coming out story was handled cautiously, reflecting the industry's fear of alienating readers. Indie comics flourished during this time, with works like Strangers in Paradise giving us nuanced depictions of LGBTQ+ relationships far beyond the superficial. With the fall of the Comics Code Authority in the 2000s, creators gained the freedom to explore LGBTQ+ and minority identities more openly. Characters like Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and John Kent, Superman, became cultural phenomena. But this era also brought backlash. Fans nostalgic for the parody of traditional heroes resisted changes, accusing publishers of pushing woke agendas. Campaigns like ComicsGate weaponized social media to attack creators, especially women, LGBTQ+ writers, and people of color. Despite this, characters like Kamala Khan have thrived, proving the hunger for diverse stories. Representation isn't just about visibility, it's about identity, belonging, and change. When Kamala Khan dons her Ms. Marvel costume, or Black Panther defends Wakanda, or John Kent comes out as bisexual, readers from all walks of life see a piece of themselves in these stories. Authentic representation challenges stereotypes, inspires activism, and reclaims comics as a space for everyone, not just one demographic. The journey of LGBTQ+ and minority representation in comics is far from over. Every step forward faces resistance, but the industry's growing commitment to authentic, intersectional storytelling ensures its relevance in the 21st century. Because in the end, comics are for everyone, and the more voices we bring into this world, the richer our stories become. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. This is African Reads Comics, and I'll see you in the next video.